Welcome to the TDA 101 database series. We'll create a second version of the definition with an updated database and show the compare function. After that, we'll use the compare definition structures job in VIP Executor to create an Excel version of the comparison. An important part of data analytics is the ability to see differences over time, the state of a table or a database structure before and after a change, or the growth of data. To do this, we need to run another scan and then incorporate it into one definition. In a previous video, we created a definition for the TDA 101 database, which is the before state. Now we need to scan an after state into the schema, which has two new columns. To do this, we'll begin in the data dictionary, click on databases, and click on the schema we want to add to. If there are many profiles, we can use the filter button below the new connection profile button. As before, if our instance of Modeler was linked to a Docker-based instance of VIP, we click on Run Cloud Scan. In my case, the instance of Modeler is linked to an on-premise version of VIP, so I'll click on Run Local Scan and then use the Process drop-down to select Get Schema Metadata and Analyze Data, and then click on Execute. The Get Schema box appears. As before, select Get Schema Metadata, Include Tables and Include Views, and deselect Scan and Categorize Data. Click on Execute, starting the scan job. This can take a minute or two depending on the size of your database. After the scan's complete, in the Data Dictionary Databases tab, the name of the connection profile has a 2 next to it, showing that it has 2 scans. Now we'll click on Data Dictionary in the breadcrumbs and return to the Definitions tab and select the definition we want to update. Again, the filter can help us with the definition. In the Definition Details pane, we'll expand Manage Versions and click on Add Version. The new Definition Version box opens. The name is auto-populated with version 2, which we can change to be more descriptive. The Profile drop-down already has the scan name, and the new version of the scan is in the Scan drop-down, so now we'll click on Process. The new Definition Version box expands to show the found differences, which can be expanded to show the details of the differences. In our case, 2 new columns have appeared, and the data type, width, and nullable columns show before and after states. Next, we'll click on Save. The definition now shows the new version in the Manage Versions section. The action buttons for the new version are grayed out at the moment. We'll need to refresh the page for them to become solid. Having done that, a new Compare button has appeared. Clicking on the Compare button displays the Compare Versions box. In our case, we only have 2 versions and they're automatically selected, but if there were more, we could use the drop-downs to select them. And then we'll click on Process. The Compare Versions box expands to show the found differences, which can be expanded to show the details of the differences. And the From and To drop-downs are still usable if we wanted to run another compare. Back on the Definition Details pane, the Contents section has a version drop-down letting us select between the versions we've defined. That completes the version options in the Data Dictionary, but there's another way that we can run a comparison. The Compare Definition Structures job in VIP Executor. In the Compare section, we'll run the Compare Database Structures job. In the first definition drop-down box, we'll select the definition we created in the last video, and in the version drop-down, we'll select 9.2 because that was the earlier version. In the second definition drop-down box, we'll select the same definition, but we'll select 9.4 in the version drop-down. In this case, we'll leave the other defaults as they are and click Execute. The job runs, and when it completes, we get a zip file that contains an Excel version of the comparison that we saw in the Definition Details pane, which can be useful if you need a file with the differences. Thanks for watching.